Hey, Finance family. Welcome to Let's Talk Tuesday. Again, it's National Preparedness Month, and this week we're going to be talking about planning for adulthood. Hopefully, you all can hear me. Give me some microphone emojis, some headphone emojis, some ear emojis, just to let me know that you can hear me loud and clear before I jump right into it. Um, and again, planning for adulthood, right? So I'm telling y'all something. When I saw this planning for adulthood, the way that it's written, it looks scary, right? It's like planning for adulthood. But I don't want you to be scared, right? These are lessons that I wish someone had shared with me before I embarked on my journey in adulthood. So hopefully, if you have small children, it's definitely some lessons you can share with them, because we're all about education here, financial education and financial literacy, and about building wealth. And so hopefully these tips that I share with you tonight will help you just do that, right? Help you build wealth. So, planning for adulthood. The first thing that I would say you need to do is create a budget, right? So, this is with the notion of you're just graduating college, okay? So, let's just assume that in college you didn't have a job, you didn't have a 9 to 5. So after college, it's like, welcome to the real world. Okay. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to have a budget. And when you think about budgeting, there should be 3 areas that you're focusing on. And one way that I felt like it's a good way to remember these areas is looking at a compass. Okay. So north, south, east, west, right? Needs, savings, and even wants. Okay. So when you're planning a budget or creating your budget, use the 50/30/20 rule. Okay. So 50% of your budget needs to go to your living expenses or your needs. 30% can go to your wants or things that are not needed, right? But like your luxuries. And then 20% should go to your savings or your investing. So always remember that when you're creating your budget. It's important that you put your wants in there because you can tell yourself all day long, oh, I don't need to plan for that. When I want to go out to eat, I'll just ramen noodle it all the time. You're going to get tired of ramen noodles. So put it in your budget, that you want to go out to eat. You want to treat yourself at a restaurant every once in a while. Make sure you plan for every single thing, your needs, your savings, and your wants. Okay. It's important. Another thing that you should do when you're preparing yourself for adulthood is think about insurance. For most of you, you probably were on your parents' health insurance throughout college. Okay. But after you graduate from college, and I believe like the cutoff age is 23, 21, and someone please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not quite there yet, so all of my kids are still on my insurance. But let me know in the comments what the cutoff age is. But I believe it's like 2023 now, I believe. Um, so if that's the case, when you graduate college, oh, hey, Regina, I'm sorry. I just jumped right into it, y'all. Hey, Regina, who else we got with? We got Casey. Hey, Casey. Hey, Wayne. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Oh, Casey told me. So the age is 26. Oh, wow, they got a little longer now. I think it was 23 when I was coming up, Casey. So I just dated myself. But so you have until that time to get your own insurance. But when you're preparing for adulthood, people definitely start thinking about that before that expiration age creeps up on you. Okay. Especially if you get married and you start a family a little earlier, you definitely want to make sure that you have your own insurance. So make sure you plan for your health insurance, and that should be in your budget. Make sure that you have car insurance, auto insurance. Again, some of you are probably on your parents' policies. My parents, at a very early age, it's like you need to get your own auto insurance, right? So I was experiencing adulthood very early. But I'm better for it because then I understood, like, what a good driving record does for your insurance, what your credit score does for your insurance. And we'll get into that a little later. So, number two, make sure that you have insurance, right? Number three, pay off any debt. Usually, when you are graduating college, you're graduating with some debt, okay? Unless you were fortunate enough to get grants and scholarships, or you did it the route that I did. I went to a technical college for all of my what I call general courses. Not sure what they call them now, but I went to a technical college for that, and I was able to pay for that with either grant or scholarship money, or in some out of pocket because it was just that cheap. And so by me doing that, it reduced the liability or the money that I owed in student loans when I completed my 4-year degree. Okay, so that's an option. I've said that before. And so when I'm saying, when someone tells you something multiple times, like, please listen because it is for your betterment. This is something that I learned, and I'm always wanting to share with others before they make the mistake of accruing all of this college debt, and then when they graduate, they have this looming college debt over their head, or either your parents have the looming college debt over their head, right? So definitely try to use like work study programs, something to offset some of that college debt, so that you don't have that when you graduate. But if you do, creating a budget can help you work off paying off that debt. All right. So create that budget, work on paying off that debt, because you definitely don't want to start your journey into adulthood with a massive amount of debt, and then it's hard for you to kind of work your way out of it. Okay. Um, Number four, start investing and saving early. Now, this is something that is so vital, so key. I cannot stress this one enough. Um, I know I've shared with you guys before that I've had friends that didn't even think about investing or saving for their retirement until they were well into their 30s. Okay, so when you think about the retirement age right now, I think is 62, 65. And so when you're 30 years old, like, you're halfway there, right? Like, you're half of your life, so to speak, is gone, right? And when you think about the life expectancy of an average male versus female. But with all that being said, you should absolutely start planning, start saving, start investing early, very early on. And I would say do that with your first job. Do that before you even get your first job. I actually have accounts that are set up for my children already. So already my kids have 401k accounts, right? Already my kids have IRA type accounts already. Okay. And the middle one, he just started working, but the baby, like, she doesn't have a job, but I still set something up for her so that when she does enter into adulthood, I can pass that on to her, and hopefully she will continue the process of reinvesting that money, right? So that it can continue to work harder for her. I've told y'all this time and time again. The earlier you start, the harder your money works for you. Okay. So if you start early, your money works harder for you. And the reason why it works harder for you is this magical thing called compounding interest. Okay. And it's not magic, but it seems like magic. You're like, what? I only contribute this amount, but this is what I'm getting back. So this compounding interest is your friend when you are investing, right? So definitely start early, right? Number five, and the final rule, and I'm sure there are plenty others. And so in the comments, if I miss something that you feel like is important in preparing for adulthood financially, please put it in the comments. But number five is knowing your credit, right? Building good credit. And so when you're building good credit, you first have to understand what makes up your credit score. So there are four buckets that make up your credit score, but they're weighted differently. And so knowing the weights is very important. So when you're looking at your credit score, they're looking at the history of your credit, what type of credit you have, so credit diversity. They're also looking at your payment terms, like how well your payment history is, rather. And then they're also looking at your overall credit utilization. So, credit utilization is of the credit that's extended to you, how much of it are you utilizing? How much are you using? Okay. And so, I usually tell people make sure that credit utilization stays below 30%. I think 35 is what like home lenders look for, something like that, anything below 35. But I usually tell people make sure it stays below 30 and make sure you pay your bills on time. So pay your bills on time, keep your credit utilization under 30, and you should be okay. Okay. You should be okay. So definitely understand what affects your credit score and how to make it better. All right. Casey has a question. Would you recommend an electronic or a manual budget tracker? Casey, do what works for you. I came up in an era where like we needed pen and paper, right? Like if we wrote a thing out, it just seems like it stuck with us better. We were committed to that thing when you wrote it out. But of course, we live in an age now where these kids are tech savvy and like everything could be controlled from your phone. Everybody pretty much has a smartphone, and so with that being said, there are plenty of apps out there that you can use. We're actually going to post some of these apps in the comment. I know for like saving and investments, so I'll go down my apps. Let me see what Wayne says. If you've never done a budget before, where's the best place to start? So if you've never done a budget before, I'm going to share a template with you guys for free. It's like a budget template that I have, and I'll put that in the comments after the live. And then I'll also share with you the retirement calculator. I'll put that in the comments after the live as well, just to give you a head start on some things. And so, Wayne, that would be the best place to start is just, again, knowing what you need to budget for, right? The needs, the savings, the wants, using that rule 50, 30, 20, 50% for your needs, 20% for your savings, 30% for your wants. Okay, so that's the best place to start is first knowing what you need to budget for. And then after you know what you need to budget for, start with a good template so that you can outline everything, all right, and stick to that budget. So going back to your question, Casey, about the apps, there are several apps that you can use for various reasons. So let's start with budgeting. All right, so there are budgeting apps that you can use. I have used Truebill, which is pretty awesome. Not only does it help you with budgeting, it also like monitors where you're spending, and it'll send you notifications if it thinks you're overspending in a certain area. And it was like, you might want to look at your bill, or you may want to shop around, or your credit score is high enough that you may qualify for a lower insurance premium. Like it'll send you little things like that. It'll send you things like, oh, I noticed a recurring charge. Is this a subscription that you really need? Like it'll ask you questions like that. Because sometimes we buy things or we get the free trial and we forget to cancel it. So we definitely, need to stay on top of things like that. And so that app, Truebill, it helps with things like that. There's another app that you can also use for budgeting. It's Mint. So if you're familiar with the company Intuit, which does TurboTax, QuickBooks, all that good stuff. They also have a budgeting app called Mint. And so Mint also allows you to create a budget, and it gives you alerts and notifications, like if you're getting close to being over that budget, or if you're getting close to that budget amount. It'll say, hey, wait a minute, you only budget $500 this month for groceries and you're at $4.95. You only got $5 left. So it'll kind of keep you on track from that aspect. So definitely there are some apps, some tools out there electronically that you can use too for budgeting. And so then for paying off debt, same thing, right? Like if you have a good budgeting tool, it can help you divert some of that money to paying your debt off. Okay, so use that True Bill, use that Mint to help you do that. Use that budget template to help reduce those that debt that you may have. Okay, a good tool for investing and savings. So I use a tool called Digit. Digit actually allows you to take a set amount from your checking account and push to like a rainy day savings fund. You could also have money go into an account to automatically pay down your student loans through Digit, which I thought was pretty cool. And Digit is so smart that even if, let's say that your checking account, you set a limit that you didn't want your checking account to get under. So if it sees that your checking account is getting close to being under that limit, or it goes under that limit, it will cut off all of the transfers, and then it will actually send you money and say, "Hey, notice that you went under, the limit that you told us to monitor. Here's a little money from your rainy day savings fund." So Digit's pretty cool, like that. Acorns is another app that I use for saving and investment. Um, Acorn is really cool because works very similar to Digit. So you can set up recurring transfers, and then you can also do what I call roundups. Roundups are like amazing if you are a swiper. Okay, so if you're a swiper, you can definitely save a lot of money really fast by using round up, because it's going to round it up to the nearest dollar, whatever you have that set at. Okay, so Acorns and Digit are good for saving. Acorns, you can also do investing too. Because I actually have, like, the accounts that I have for my kids that I mentioned, that's through Acorns as well. So it does investing too. Okay, Wayne has a question. I like your tagline, budgeting like a compass, needs, wants, even savings. Yes, see? And Wayne, I promise you, I just got that right before I logged on. So I give that to God. God gave me that one. But yeah, I just got that before I logged on, because I'm always trying to think of ways to make it easy for me to remember, because I'm the type of person I have to do like wordplay association. So I always have to think about ways that it's easy for me to remember. So in doing so, I will be a blessing to you all. So hopefully you remember the compass rule. Um, and so then another app for investing is also Stash. So I use Stash in order to buy like stocks. You can buy ETFs on Stash. You can, I can't remember if they do mutual funds. Only if they have a ticker. So like an ETF is sort of like a mutual fund. It's a whole bunch of stocks in one fund, but it has a ticker mark. So or a ticker symbol, so that you're able to buy it. So that's another one to use if you are looking to invest. And then for your credit score, to monitor your credit score, I use an app called Experian. Truebill also has a credit score monitoring, and so does Mint. But I will say this, like your Truebill and your Mint credit score, they usually use TransUnion, and it's usually going to appear more favorable than what your actual TransUnion credit score is. So that's why I encourage you to use Experian, okay? Because I don't want you to arrive at the car dealership thinking you got a 735, and then they really pull that credit score and it's more like a 695. Okay, I just want you to be great. And so definitely use that experience score. Experience is pretty cool because it even tells you what your score is based on what you're trying to do. So, like, it'll tell you your mortgage rate score, your car loan score, your bank score. Like, it'll break it down for you so that you're not caught off guard. So, when you're planning to make these large purchases, you're prepared. You know what to expect. You're a better negotiator if you have good credit. Okay. So, definitely. know your credit score. Use those applications, use those tools that we're going to be sharing with you so that you can be better prepared, hopefully better than I was for adulthood. Oh, thank you, Charles. So hopefully you got some good information out of this. I encourage you to share this with your children. I encourage you to sit down with your kids. I don't care how old they are. At every stage in life, like, you can open your kids up to financial literacy, even from their youth. I mean, they know about the tooth fairy, right? So if they know about the tooth fairy, they understand the concept of money, okay? Because they understand, I lose a tooth, I get something in return. I mean, that's if y'all do the tooth fairy at your house. My baby girl is a 10, and we still do the tooth fairy. Don't judge me, y'all. Okay, Casey says, I used the Experian and it has saved me with accounts that were open without me. Oh, that's a good point, Casey, because you also can use it for like monitoring your credit, and they do allow you to pull your credit report, and you can look and see what accounts were opened up erroneously, like that weren't tied to you, and you can definitely easily dispute those accounts through the app. And it's a really easy process because I had to dispute some stuff too. So thank you for reminding me of that piece of the app too, Casey, because you definitely can use it for that. Um, so that's all I had, guys. Just wanted to, like I said, share with you some knowledge, some things that I've learned the hard way, some things that I learned by watching others. But definitely don't want you to be afraid, or don't want your children to be afraid of entering adulthood, right? Because it did look scary at first. And Wayne says, should we teach our children how to read their credit report early? I think you should teach. I don't know at what age they would be able to grasp the concept. Okay, but here's what I will say to teach them. You can teach them the things that will result in them having a good credit score. Okay, so I don't, even adults, right, don't really understand their full credit report, because your credit score and your credit report are like two different things. So when you pull your credit report, that thing is long, depending on how much credit you have. And so even as adults, like, you have to dig and read, and you have to understand, like, what's in your credit report, how it's affected my score. So I don't think children will be able to grasp that concept. Not the average child, right? Nor will they be interested in it. However, you can say, you teach them about earning an income. You could teach them about, saving. You could teach them about saving early, paying things on time, right? And how it would save them money in the long run. But again, showing them a credit score, I don't know if they'll be ready for that. Again, adulthood could be a little scary, so we don't want to scare them off from the thought of it by bombarding them with everything that they have to be concerned about for adulthood. So, again, baby steps, Wayne. That's my advice to you, baby steps. Okay. So, Five Finance family, hopefully this was informative. Wayne says, thank you for this info. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Wayne. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And again, if I missed anything, please share with me some of your tips, some things that you wish you had learned before you embarked on this in adulthood. Because I want to know, because I definitely would want to share that with my kids as well. Because we all learn from experiences. Like, life is the ultimate teacher. That's the truth. And so we learn from these life experiences. So hopefully the life experiences that I have learned will be a help and a benefit to you. Right. And that's all that I have. Hopefully you guys again found this informative. If you did, please visit our website. Please connect with us if you want to set up a consultation, you want to talk more. about financial planning, you want to talk more if you have a business and you want to talk more about planning for your business, definitely visit our website, set up a consultation. We would love to hear with you. We would love to connect with you. And while you're there, subscribe to our newsletter. We're definitely trying to do our best to keep good content in front of you on a regular basis. And so we want to make sure we keep that connection. And join our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. Earl says, I'm sorry, y'all, I get sidetracked. It's like, have y'all watched the movie Up with the little dog that's like squirrel? Like, that's me. So Earl says, make sure that when you take out a loan that you actually report it to the credit agencies. That's a good statement, Earl. So sometimes the credit, not everybody reports your information to the credit bureaus. So if you know that you have a loan and you've been properly paying that loan, you can have that reported. You can report that to the bureaus yourself. That's a good sidebar for business owners too. So, for business owners, when you're trying to establish credit for your business, what you can do is work with a vendor and say, hey, man, can you set me up like on a payment plan? Right. And then you can have that account reported to the bureaus, right, on your behalf. And that would be Duns and Bradstreet for the credit for the credit bureaus for businesses. Okay. So thank you, Earl. Good point. Good point. Um, so again, if you have not already done so, please join our Facebook group. It's called Fire Your Boss Entrepreneurs Unite. So it's for new entrepreneurs. It's for existing entrepreneurs. I just wanted to create a space where we can all get together and we can chat it up about best practices. We can give each other encouraging words, right? I mean, you can promote yourself. Like today, we had a tag that says share your socials. So we want you to have a safe place to promote yourself and to encourage one another, right? Because hey, we all we got. Y'all remember that from New Jack City? Okay, I'm dating myself. I'm gonna get off because I'm dating myself. So, anywho, thank you again, Five Finance family, for joining this Tuesday evening on Let's Talk Tuesday. Until next time, you all have a blessed and wonderful Tuesday evening. See you next time. Bye.